Good afternoon, and welcome to our first recurring weekly special Infusionsoft landing pages on fire. My name is Rorik Gurney. I'm with Infusionsoft's partner training group, coming to you live from sunny Chandler, Arizona here, home of Infusionsoft's headquarters. And I have with me today Dhruv Patel. Dhruv is the founder of Convert. They're essentially kind of the co-creators of Infusionsoft's landing page. And we had a great business booster a few weeks back where Dhruv went into great detail on the landing page builder, some great tricks. We had tons and tons of interest and questions. We've had people since then asking us to kind of readdress the topic. So for the foreseeable future, at least, we're going to be doing a new weekly series on the landing page with Dhruv. So let's see here. Right now we have Barney. You're our sole attendee. You're kind of the early arriver, not uncommon for these, especially first sessions, to have folks jumping in, a few minutes after we get going. So for the short time, at least, you have our undivided attention there. And what we're going to do for this very first session is we're going to go ahead and just kind of, test the format, see what people like as far as just presentation, back and forth, Q&A, kind of testing people's own landing page challenges live on the session, just kind of see what works, throw things against the wall, see what sticks, essentially. So both for this session and all ongoing sessions, please, give your feedback afterwards via chat and any method that you want to just let us know what you loved, what could go better for the future. Also, for those of you that are, let's see here, just you still, Barney. So you'll see there towards the bottom, the little chat window there. You can go ahead and just type in any questions that you want into there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to open up some time towards the end of today's session to get any kind of Q&A taken care of. Depending on the number of attendees, we can go ahead and do a deeper dive into one or two people's questions, or just kind of do top level if we have more than that. And we'll go ahead and, like I say, just pivot and adjust and just take it as it comes along. So I'm going to go ahead and Dhruv, go ahead and pass the mic over to you at this point, sir. Let you kind of just take the spotlight. I'll let you just take as much time as you need, and when you're ready, go ahead and pass it back to me. We'll go ahead and open up for any questions from the floor.
Awesome, Rorik. Thank you very much. What I'll do is I've created a very basic format of how I want to go about these webinars, and so I'll share my screen, and hopefully, can you see my screen, by the way, Rorik? I just want to make sure you see the landing pages on fire screen on your page.
Sure do. It looks great.
Perfect. Okay. I'll have to do some used to playing around with this. Okay, perfect. So idea behind this is, obviously helping people with not only landing pages, but what are the best methods of getting the most amount of traffic, and when you get that traffic, how to drive the highest conversion through that traffic that you're getting. And so with that, the topic that I've picked for this particular first webinar is how to drive, a visitor through high value offer without persuasion. Now, what I mean high value offer is, let's say you are a consultant of some sort and you have a service that you're providing, and we'll go deeper into the background in just a few, but a high level meaning you have a very high value offer, meaning the cost of what you're providing is very expensive, and sometimes running that type of a page or ad pushes people away just because of the price option. But how can we make it so that you can make your page, design your landing page in a very specific format that actually drives the visitor towards your offer and makes them want to sign up for more? Now, there are ways that you can do persuasion or you can do clarity, and we'll go dive deeper into each of the webinars on each topic as it comes along. But for today's session, we'll start with, a topic that's, good enough and very segmented, very targeted to a very specific type of user. So just to give a little background, it is for coaches and consultants looking to drive higher conversion that may already have a list to reach out to, or they have already captured their ideal market and they want to kind of, engage back again with them. The title, I think I forgot to change. We were planning on calling it Top of the Funnel Tuesday, so you guys may see the title up top. I'll change it for our next session. I forgot to change that little detail up there. And then the goal is for the customers have already shown interest in a service and now they want to convert them into a prospect. And as you can see on the side, I've created a little diagram, and that kind of the customer's journey is where your customer is in your sales cycle and where this landing page would work the most, where it would be the most effective for your business. And then at the bottom, as you can see, the method of outreach is whether you're doing that initial email or you're running a paid ad or social media outreach. Any of those avenues you can use to drive traffic to this particular page. Now, a lot of times we get a lot of questions is how do I get a lot of traffic? Usually, you have to have some sort of a list or some sort of a paid campaign that you're running or some sort of a social media outreach or affiliate program that can help you drive that targeted traffic towards your business. So those are the generic, method of outreach for your customers, and that's what we will be using for this particular landing page. And so again, if you guys are more interested in learning more about the specifics of these, there is a link over here at the bottom, and perhaps we can share this link in the chat window also. It's the sites.google.com/infusionsoft.com/campaign strategy and /home. And in here there are a lot of pre-made campaign strategies that are already available, and you can find those. But for our small business success guide, we're focusing on marketing consultants. We're looking to convert customers from already generated traffic, and then doing like an in-depth assessment for that business is the scenario that we're going to pick for this particular topic. And so what defines this is the very biggest kind of a pivoting point, like when you're creating a landing page or when you're doing any sort of marketing on the web. What defines success? And the way I look at it is helping your visitor drive towards your offer in a manner that first you have to kind of make them understand who you are and what do you do before you actually start selling them. So sometimes you see that landing pages that you land on has a form right there on the very first kind of a view. If the customers are not ready, they will never fill that form out. They would want to have more information before they actually get to a form where they want to fill it out. And so you want to be cognizant of where your customers are in the life cycle of how knowing they are of your service and what you do and everything. So the basic format that I always use to make sure that I'm using the right landing page and the right format or the flow of the content on it is by asking myself, if I were to be the visitor of the website, do I understand, do I have clarity in my messaging? Is there a credibility of something that makes the customer feel that, okay, yes, I believe in what you're selling? What appeal, what is the appeal generator? What are the hot buttons that makes the customer or the visitor of your website want your product? And then the exclusivity, meaning what is the benefiting factor that only you can provide. Apple, one of the highest grossing companies in the world, they use this technique really well. Every time they release a product, their customers, as soon as they see the product, they tell themselves, I understand this, I believe this, I want this, and I can only get this from you. At this point, the two different things, the material and the mental things, which is I need to pay this much or I need to do this much, almost becomes irrelevant, meaning the pricing doesn't become an option anymore, just because in the first four steps of your page you're already declaring a lot of the high value that you're offering alongside with your offering altogether. At that point the customer doesn't think too much of like what it's going to cost. It's like putting the customer in the front seat of the business is what you want to do essentially. And so based on that, one other pro tip that I kind of want to also sell, not sell, but share with you guys is, people buy from people, not from landing pages. So make sure that you are talking in a language that your customer actually understands. One of the examples that I always use is the term, the banner that you see while you're driving on the road is free car wash. Everybody understands free car wash, whether you are a college, graduate or a high school dropout. If you read free car wash, it makes sense to you that you can, you will be more attracted to go for that car wash kind of thing, if your car is dirty, that is, or if you want to actually, decide to. So, but people always buy from people. They don't buy from, landing pages or web pages. So make sure that you bring the human factor when you're writing the copy on your page. It makes the highest number of conversion is how you write the copy on the page. And that brings me to the next kind of a step where we are kind of outlining a page of how can we make a page that is designed for that conversion. Now, first thing that you will notice is the form is at the very bottom of the page, and let me explain a little bit of like the hierarchy on how this page has been designed. And this is again just a sketch of what the page does and how it flows. So first you're doing some sort of a attention grabbing headline with some sort of a video, and you have a clear call to action. Now this clear call to action, every time you have a button, don't always want to keep it the same language, meaning don't say click here to get started, right? Like everybody uses that. When you say something like click to get started or get started now, it's very generic. People are almost numb to reading something like that on the button. Instead, what I would suggest is use a hot button that is the value for them. So instead of saying click here now to get started, you can say find out how you can optimize your business, right? Like something that actually makes them want to click on that button. Another, just from this wireframe, what I want to kind of convey is you don't need high def graphics on a landing page as long as the story that you're telling is broken down properly. All you need is the buttons to look different on the whole black and white screen, and you can still drive the highest number of conversion. Now, a lot of times people do get lost on how do I make something pretty or something really graphically appealing or very intuitive web page. I want my landing page to be having parallax and everything. Obviously our page builder gives you that, and there is a time and a place for using those features to make things look fancy, but 80% of your conversion doesn't come from how pretty your page looks like. It's what the copy you have on your page. And so what I have done in this particular diagram over here, in this wireframe that I've created, is you have an attention grabbing headline and something that captivates their understanding of the landing page. And remember that you only have about 3 seconds to capture your visitors attention before they decide they want to stay on your page or they want to leave and do something else with their lives. So within the 3 seconds, you want to convey the message that's right for them. Underneath that, I have three column look, which is a benefit statement of sort. So three different high-level benefits that they will immediately get when they use something like the landing page. And then underneath it, it kind of shows how the process works, of like what you're offering, how that process works, in how it fits into the customer's, like, how the customer is accustomed to, that particular process. So it kind of tells them exactly in a 4-step process how it works. And then again, there is an immediate call to action, because by this time if we go back to that, we are in the appeal phase almost, that I want this. Like, customers really are in a phase that, okay, I understand it, I believe in what you're selling, and like, I want it. So that's why there is a call to action right smack in the center, right over here under how it works. If you guys cannot see the graphics, because it's a bit tiny on the screen, but the blue button, you can see it. And then right underneath it, it has two different offers, meaning offer one if you're if you're interested in this, and offer number two if you're interested in this. And with the final design, I'll even go into detail on what it benefits over here. Underneath it, so while you're at the call to action, so this is the decision making process. This is the like kind of the main clear call to action that you're bringing, that, okay, make a decision over here by clicking this or clicking that, or like whatever you have, right? Like the main two offers that you're offering. Right underneath it, it's the relevant information. It says you get all the following benefits. So you're immediately giving them even more benefits, more hot buttons that actually make them move towards your offer rather than running away from your offer. And then underneath it, you have the quote part, which is where you're actually generating your lead. And as you can see on the side, it says, the bunch of testimonials and everything right next to it. And we'll explore that. A few other things about this template's outline, as I have outlined over here with the bullets. It's designed for skeptics. So always remember that 70% of all your traffic that comes to your website from a paid ad or an email, they're always skeptics of what you're selling. They're not immediately gonna pull out their credit card and start using, start paying you for service that you're offering. They want to first build a trust with you, right? So always remember that 70% on average, 70% of the traffic that you get on your website is always going to be skeptics. They don't really want to buy from you right away, but they want to understand what you're selling before they actually jump into making a buying decision. Sometimes you may even run into scenarios where they'll actually visit your landing page 3 or 4 times before they actually make a purchasing decision, just because they need their personal space, personal time to do their own little research. The page is designed for a quick scan, so the reason why items are broken down into like 3 columns and 4 columns and down to 2 columns, and with big words highlighting certain items, is mainly designed for a quick scan. So even if the first 3 seconds is what you have with your customer when they first land on the page, they can quickly scan and they decide if they are ready for the offer, and they will make a purchase or purchasing decision when they are ready. But at least your page is doing a good job conveying that message. There is a clear messaging over persuasive content, so there is no persuasion on this page at all. Although it's a long page, there is no persuasive content. It's very direct, meaning I don't have to persuade my customer to change their mind. I don't have to be a car salesperson to actually make a sale. I can be very clear on exactly what I'm selling, and even though it's a high value offer, I can close that sale with a proper design of the landing page. No first fall form, which is the next bullet list over here, which pretty much conveys that the form is not up top. It's actually at the very bottom of the page, meaning that I first want the customer to understand what I'm selling before I'm actually putting a form in their face to fill it out. Now, if they're a repeat customer or something, there might be a different way where you do want to design a different landing page where you want to keep your form on the first or second fold of the page. But for the target that we are going after, it is a high value offer. We want them to understand before they make a purchase. We want to keep the lead generation or any purchasing opportunity at the bottom of the page rather than the first fold of the page, right? The page also drives visitor towards the offer, and it is completely designed for mobile responsiveness. And so I'll show you a quick glimpse of what the template looks like. It is, by the way, available in the marketplace. So let me just jump into the marketplace. And Roar, can you guys still see my screen as I'm sharing? I got out of the presentation mode. I just wanted to make sure.
Yep, still see it, no problem.
Okay, perfect. So I am inside the landing page builder, and this is the template that is already available, and I'll show you guys quickly the benefits of using this particular template and why it was designed the way it was designed. So I'll quickly click on the use this template. I can always already see the design of the template and why it was designed the way it was designed, but I'll just jump into the actual usage of it. So I'll call it high value offer. You do have to give it a name just so that it doesn't cause any errors or anything on the page. But as you can see, the entire page is designed in a very specific, it says free in-depth assessment, discover your bottleneck. We simplify your most complex business problem and make your business workflow easy to follow. Your employees and customers will thank you. There was no persuasion in this messaging. It was very clear exactly what it does. And then it says simple, backed by data and result driven. So it literally makes them want to read more. And even if they just quickly scan through it, they know exactly what this particular page has to offer, right? So there is no form, but it does have a logo of the business and a quick way for them to call and immediately get on the call, right? And then underneath it, it just says how does it work? And so in there is a 4-step process that I have created in this design. It just says let's have a conversation on what part of your business you struggle the most with, and then in 2 hours or less we collect as much information from you as we can. Step number 3 is we work with you and your team to refine and implement business solutions, and then the 4th one is we pass off the deliverables, and you and your customers will rejoice, kind of thing. And then you can have another call to action, and these call to actions are actually anchored. So I have them anchored to a specific section, which is I think it's the last one. Let me just name these sections over here. So I'll just click over here and I'll give it a name. I'll call it lead gen. And then when the button is clicked, so right over here, I can just take them to the lead gen. See how it changed the name to lead gen now. So whenever this button is clicked, it automatically scrolls them down to get them started, kind of thing. I do want to continue. Let me see if I can close my chat so I don't get all these messages. Okay, and so the straightforward pricing. So instead of hiding the prices, this is again experimental, and you can change obviously everything on this page, but it literally makes everything visible to the customer. Like if you're doing internal business bottleneck, this is the cost. It's a high value ticket, but this is the cost that you will be paying. Are you facing the customer facing bottleneck? Then this is what you would be having. This is the cost for internal. So you can upfront let customers know that exactly this is my cost. Again, this is going to a targeted market, so sometimes people hide the pricing because they don't want their competitors to see how much they're charging, kind of thing, what their hourly rate is or something. But because you are going after a very targeted market, there is a high probability that your competitors will not access this particular landing page, although it might be completely designed towards your brand and everything. So you are okay to put your pricing right there, because your job is to actually, the customer is kind of halfway convinced, let them convert them into a paying customer. So, your customers will probably even see this page once, twice, or, at most 5 times, if they're not ready to make a decision yet, kind of thing. And then right underneath, this, it just says like, this particular blimp is just a fictional company name, Blimp Consultants. But, it says, define your business story, understand your customer, refine your sales pipeline. So it's perfect for all these added values to your business. So you can immediately, update any of the contents in here to make it match what offer you have. And then underneath it, you have, let's get started. Now, right when they're filling out this information, they may have additional questions. So sometimes you may want to swap out testimonials with questions, and that's what I have done with this particular template. It says frequently asked questions like, is this right for me? Because because it's a high value offer, people are very kind of conservative, very protective of what they want to and what they don't want to kind of release to people in general, right? And they're more reserved when it comes to like anything that they're doing, like a high value kind of a purchase or something. So you can address those, like the 3 biggest questions or the 3 biggest fear that the customer may have, or the 3 biggest things objections that your customers may have. You can address them right next to the form. So it's bringing the right content in the right place, which drives a higher conversion in general. So, and then you can change the form. Obviously, you guys know how to add more fields. You can, reorder items as you please. You can pass information from this page to the next page if you want. If you're creating a multi-step funnel and everything, but all those things are already available, and we'll take the next 30 minutes kind of to go over any specifics you may have. You can do the form redirect option. You can design a thank you page, and there is a thank you page that's already designed for this particular template, which is a very simple thank you page. It just says thank you. You should receive an email from us for the in-depth assessment of your business, blah blah blah, and then you can just quickly go to launch and launch the page. But wanted to kind of steer back into this and just go with the flow, and I guess start asking questions now. And Rorik, you can jump into it also, and then we can kind of discuss the next webinar ideas that people may be interested in also.
Absolutely. Let's see, we have 2 attendees with us. Barney, we have a call-in user, so I can't see who that is, but you're, of course, welcome to jump into the conversation. So Barney, for right now, since you're the one person on the app, of course, you can go ahead and throw any questions that you have in chat. Of course, this, what we've covered so far has been some just great conversion practices, just how to basically have the best funnel into your system via your landing page. But if you had any more specific questions about a challenge or a roadblock you were seeing yourself, we do have about a half hour of our time today. Like we said, we kind of left today's session pretty wide open to kind of get a feel for what people were looking for, what the real need was that we can help solve for folks here. So if anybody has any kind of a question that they'd like to ask, go ahead and just throw that into chat there. And what I'm going to do here, since we have 2 attendees and Barney's the one person who's actually on the computer, whoever that is on the phone, I'm going to unmute you here for a second. If you don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and just talk to you for a second, make sure that if you have any kind of questions they get answered. 1 second here. You're now live. Who are we talking to on the phone?
Hey, Rorik, this is Kathy Swanson.
Hey, Kathy, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Definitely
Awesome.
Showed up. Yeah,
Glad
just had a
to
little
see.
technical. Good to see you too as well. Having a little technical issue. Can't get in on the WebEx, and so there's some visuals that Drew was talking about that I am not up to speed on.
Well,
but
the
I have
good
been
news
listening
is
the whole time.
Awesome, good. That's the important thing. So you've heard the live content. So I'll be just like for office hours. Where I know you're one of my frequent flyers there. I'll be posting a new archive for our weekly landing page series, and then you'll be able to go there and see all of the video presentation. And then what we'll probably also do is we can go ahead and even just post a link to the presentation if you may wanted to see that in a bit more depth. So you can zoom in on any images, that kind of thing. So that will get taken care of for you. And then if you want, we can go ahead and troubleshoot the actual technical issue if it is ongoing. So you can go ahead and hop in with us live for Q&A and viewing images and the screen shares and everything for our next session. In the meantime, did you have any questions that you wanted to throw Drew's way, my way? He is the master of the landing page builder. I know we were kind of covering that in some detail yesterday in our conversation. Did you want to go ahead and kind of key any of the ongoing questions you had his direction so we can get taken care of for you?
Yeah, let's see here. I guess my biggest concern about landing pages right now is the ability to go ahead and use a domain on those.
Okay. So also as far as like the subfolders, is that what you were from our discussion yesterday?
Yeah, the subfolders. Yeah, the subfolders we were talking about yesterday.
Okay. So Drew, Kathy was actually on office hours with me yesterday and raised a bunch of great questions over a wide spectrum. But one of her questions, so in the landing page builder, of course, you're able to go into the custom domains. What she's looking for is the ability not just to have an actual main domain and a subdomain, but the ability to basically set like folders where if she wanted to just change one landing page to be assigned to one subfolder on a domain, another landing page on a different subfolder. Is there the capability in the landing page builder for that currently? Any tricks that you know for that?
So it's a very, very great question, and it was the very first, before we even released the product, it was one of the questions that was raised. But unfortunately, the way Infusionsoft Campaign Builder is designed, the way it is designed, there are some restrictions around creating that folder structure for the landing page. It prevents, so the landing page builder product, which is an outside product from Infusionsoft, it has natively that capability. But because there were a lot of reservations around, how many pages should the landing page builder be allowed to create. For example, the original page, the web form builder that you guys had in place, it only has a page, landing page, and a thank you page. So idea was to only limit it to just a landing page and a thank you page. But in general, like the page builder itself can create unlimited number of pages just within itself. But because of certain restrictions, we had to narrow it down to just a landing page and a thank you page. And that pretty much falls over, like technically it falls over into preventing from creating even any folder structures for the pages, the way the page URL gets created and everything. So it goes a lot more in a technical discussion, and we've tried exploring this like I think 10 or 15 times in discussions on what is the best way we can actually provide that. But unfortunately, there is no outcome that would actually allow us to do something like that. The only solution at the moment is having a WordPress website, and then if you have a WordPress website, the WordPress plugin for the Infusionsoft landing pages, that allows you to create that / page name kind of a structure. But otherwise, you're just stuck with a page name dot, your subdomain, kind of your website.com scenario when you're doing a custom domain. So for each landing page you create, it will be a unique subdomain that you will have to go in and create until there is a better kind of methodology or thing that gets implemented.
Okay, that's what I was assuming was the case, but it's great to hear it directly from your lips. So, yeah. So, and also, we discussed kind of using redirects and possibly just changing the URL from one to the next, so that it's always pointing to the most recent version. So that would be another potential workaround until we have something like a WordPress. You could use that, or until there's some kind of a change. So
yeah, one other option you do have is kind of using, if you have a web hosting service already that you are paying for. You can buy some cheap web hosting services for $2 or $3 a month nowadays. But you can create in your FTP, you can create a folder structure, and then we do provide in our landing page builder. If I escape out of this, on the launch step, we do have this embed where you can actually copy this embed code, and once you click on it, it automatically copies to your clipboard. But this is one way of creating an index.html file on a folder on your FTP and pasting this link in there to make that / thing happen on your existing page, like a blank page essentially. So that is one other method that you can try working if you're technically able to, if you have those resources and stuff. So
very good. All right, thank you. Any additional follow-up questions from your side? I see some chatting in there from Barney. He's thrilled about the timing here. He is doing a launch next week for around 10 days. So good. So that gives us at least hopefully one more session with you, Barney, before you go live on that. You can go ahead and suck up a little bit extra knowledge. So, all right, Kathy. Any other questions from your direction, ma'am?
I like the concept of the FTP folder structure, and we'll go ahead and explore that. I've got some clients that are on WordPress. I've got some clients that are on non-mobile responsive sites. That's part of the problem. So embedding on those particular sites could be not necessarily advantageous.
Yeah, and our pages are completely mobile responsive. So we can even do our next session on that. And that's why I kind of kept the last slide as an open-ended question. And the 3 questions that we are asking here, Kathy, are do you want to see the webinar more on the best conversion practices? The second question is, would you like your landing pages be reviewed in these weekly webinars where you get expert reviews from myself and Rourke on like what really works for the landing page, how you're driving traffic to it, what you're doing with it, and we can give you the expert reviews and you can make those updates to your page. So it'll be like a live session on taking a look at somebody's actual landing page and helping them live with it. Because sometimes people can design what they want, but they just need a third person's opinion on what that would look like. And then the third question is, would you need any live help inside the landing page builder itself for like a specific feature, for example, or building out an entire campaign using the campaign builder where Rourke can jump in and then jumping into the landing page builder and creating this very insanely cool sequence or something. So any of those topics, we are keeping them open for discussion, and depending on where people's interests are, we can run different webinars around different topics.
And it looks like Barney's just throwing some stuff in there in chat there. It's funny the timing there. He's asking for live help on a feature, which was the third option he offered there, or some fresh eyes on the landing page you're building. And that's a landing page review. So it looks like Barney's natural, what he was reaching for is 2 out of the 3. So we could even just do a mix, have a great presentation, maybe a small 20-minute presentation on a conversion practice, just teach something, and then just essentially respond to people's needs. For anybody who's been to office hours, that's kind of a come in, get any kind of questions asked. We do reviews of campaigns. We can do kind of a similar approach there with a very, very narrow focus, kind of a laser specialty right into the landing page builder.
Yeah, that would be awesome. And having an open discussion with actual customers not only helps get them more business, but it also helps us understand, which different markets you are trying to go after and what works in those. So it could be like a really good use case of how you were getting traffic before and has it changed after, any suggestions that were made and everything. So it's a learning, process for both, whoever's in the webinar, whoever's hosting the webinar. So I'd be very open to that.
Absolutely. I've always been a big believer, and I use the phrase pivot and adjust all the time. We use that here internally sometimes too. And if we find that one thing, like I said, throw it against the wall. If it doesn't stick, we go a different direction and find what brings the most value to the most people in the least amount of time to get everybody to that goal that they each have. So, all right, good to hear. Kathy, you're still unmuted. Any additional input, questions?
Well, before that, I would definitely vote for the structure you're talking about. I think it would be excellent, and based upon our conversation yesterday, I would be glad to offer up my own situation that I was dealing with the other day.
Awesome. Love to hear that. So yeah, we'll go ahead and just like I say, today might be a bit of a challenge with it being just over the telephone. We can kind of try and paint a great audible picture, but that's nowhere near as great as a screen share. But absolutely, we'll go ahead and if you want to, go ahead and plan on coming back next week, and we can let you be kind of a high priority. Maybe the rule might be that attendees that join week to week kind of get priority for their questions. And we can even just do kind of an advanced sign up and get your questions asked even before the session. So we come in with a couple just proactive bullet points to touch on. There's a variety of ways we can go ahead and do this. So I'm thrilled that you were here. You're coming to all the right places to learn all the great knowledge. So all right, let's see here. Anything else from your side then, Kathy?
At this point, no. I'm kind of overloaded as far as the brain is going right now. At the same time, I am definitely going to be there next week.
Awesome. Glad to hear it. So let's see here. Barney, anything that you had from your side? Anything more that we can go ahead and throw in there and get squared away? All right. So we have a green light from both. We have an amen from Barney. Everything looks good there. So in that case, what we'll probably do, Drew, did you have anything you wanted to go ahead and add? Any last minute, just little tidbits of wonderful expertise and knowledge?
More than knowledge, I probably would enjoy if I can get any feedback on how the presentation was done today, and if the format was proper, that it made sense before jumping into actual design of the pages, to give the backstory of it. And that was my purpose of creating this format of the presentation the way I did. Anything that I can improve or change, please feel free to let me know, and I'd be happy to welcome any feedback that I get.
Awesome. Kathy knows how to reach me, but Barney there in the background, I'm going to go ahead and throw my email address in the chat here. If you have my first and last name and Infusionsoft, you know how to get to me pretty easily. But right there, rorick.gurney@infusionsoft.com. So, I always ask for the same thing that Drew is asking for here for my other little home office hours for partners. What we really need is just pure, open, transparent feedback. Things that are great are always wonderful to hear, but we need to know the things we need to steer away from. So the things that you loved, the things you want to keep on hearing, highlight those so that we know, because again, this is version 1. We'll fine tune as we go forward, but let us know what you loved. Let us know what wasn't your favorite, what could have been done in a different manner. We're going to go ahead and, like I say, keep on fine tuning this into the well-oiled machine that is going to, absolutely become over time, and we need your feedback as our partners to know what those things are, those improvements that can be made. So go ahead and shoot them off my way there, and then we'll go ahead and I'll forward anything off to Drew as well. And then what I'll probably also do is just in future sessions, right now when we end the session, you'll bounce out just to Infusionsoft's page. We can go ahead and create a survey that just auto prompts for the same thing. What did you love? What can be better? Just so that, again, our goal here entirely is your guys' success. Whatever we can do to make you better really helps everyone. It's a win-win-win situation. So, all right. Well, in that case, then I think we have what we came for today. We got some great knowledge there, Drew. As always, thanks so much for jumping in there and again just sharing all of the mastery and the knowledge that you have. Thanks again, Kathy. Thanks, Barney, for joining us. We're going to do same bat time, same bat channel next Wednesday. Keep an eye on those Facebook pages for postings. Fire off those emails to me with any kind of feedback that you have, and then we'll have that recording, the links to the recordings, and the new archive dropped in those same Facebook locations tomorrow. All right. Well, thank you very much there. I'll let you go ahead and do your own signing off. Drew, did you want to give a goodbye?
Yeah, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Org, for organizing this. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Barney, for positive feedback on this. And I look forward to doing more of these with everyone.
Absolutely. All right. Well, you guys have a wonderful remainder of your day. And again, we will see you again next week. Only the one registration is required, of course, so you can go ahead and just go off of your registration for today's session to be active for all of them. But the link will be dropped there pretty much on a weekly basis to get you back in this direction. Until then, have a wonderful day and week ahead of you, and we will talk to you again soon. Thanks much. Bye-bye.